Boxing, the sweet science. One of the most exciting, entertaining and cerebral sports in the world. Sometimes, that excitement ends in tragedy. My name is Tank and this series is called Tragedies of the Ring. I want to cover stories of life-altering and life-ending accidents and OR situations in combat sports and sports entertainment. The first fight I want to cover is Benny Paret vs. EMILE Griffith. Let's get into it. But before we continue, please like, subscribe, share and comment. Let's begin. Bernardo Paret, March 14, 1937 to April 3, 1962, known as Benny Paret and Benny Kid Paret, was Cuban welterweight boxer who won the World Welterweight Championship twice in the early 1960s. In 50 fights he accumulated a 35-12 record with 10 KOs and 3 draws. EMILE Alphonse Griffith, February 3, 1938 to July 23, 2013, was a professional boxer from the U.S. Virgin Islands who won world titles in 3 weight divisions. He held the world light middleweight, 1 undisputed welterweight, 2 and middleweight titles. In his career, he accumulated an 85-24 record with 23 KOs, 2 draws and 1 no contest. He is also on the list as one of the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. These men had 3 bouts. The first being on April 1, 1961, in Miami, Florida. Griffith lost. It was his first defense of the middleweight title. Their second bout was on September 30, 1961, in Madison Square Garden. Paret won that fight in a 15-round split decision and recaptured his titles.
The trilogy would be the final time that Benny Paret would be with us. Griffith and Paret's third fight, which was nationally televised by ABC, occurred on March 24, 1962, at Madison Square Garden. Griffith had been incensed by a slur that was directed at him by Paret during the weigh-in. Paret touched Griffith's butt and whispered Spanish slurs into his opponent's ear about certain adult preferences that he had. Griffith had to be restrained from attacking Paret on the spot.
In the 6th round, Paret came close to stopping Griffith with a multi-punch combination, but Griffith was saved by the bell. After the 6th round, Griffith's trainer, Gil Clancy, later said he told him, "When you go inside I want you to keep punching until Paret holds you or the referee breaks you. But you keep punching until he does that." In round 12, Griffith trapped Paret in a corner. Stunned after taking hard blows to the head, Paret stopped punching back and slumped to the side against the ropes, although his upper body was through them and partly out of the ring. Griffith held his opponent's shoulder, keeping him in position while using his free hand to hit Paret, who was no longer trying to protect himself by head movement or an arm guard. Griffith repeatedly landed right uppercuts on Paret's head. 29 consecutive unanswered punches in all were thrown. At this point, Ruby Goldstein stepped in, thereby awarding Griffith a win by technical knockout. Immediately after the referee intervened, Paret, who had remained on his feet throughout, slowly slid to the floor. He was carried from the ring on a stretcher and passed 10 days later in hospital without regaining consciousness. Griffith told a television interviewer, "I'm very proud to be the welterweight champion again. I hope Paret is feeling very good." When the seriousness of the situation became known, Griffith went to the hospital where Paret was being treated and unsuccessfully attempted for several hours to gain entry to Paret's room. He would later receive hate mail from Paret supporters who were convinced Griffith intentionally passed away Paret. Griffith reportedly felt guilt over Paret's passing and suffered nightmares about Paret for 40 years. New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller created a 7-man commission to investigate the incident in the sport. Referee Ruby Goldstein was found responsible for not stepping in sooner. 43 years after this fight, EMILE Griffith met with Benny Paret's son. Benny's son expressed his forgiveness and Mr. Griffith expressed his extreme sorrows and apologies. He said, he didn't go in with the intention of hurting anyone. Mr. Paret's widow declined to speak to Mr. Griffith. Later on, in interviews, he speaks about his adult preferences and society's acceptances and or lack thereof of people in his position. I was happy to bring you this episode of Tragedies of the Ring. This is Tank, saying thanks and laters.